If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your faded words I would choke.
Happy Hump Day and happy June the 1st to everyone in the sports universe. It is June the 1st, 2022. This is the AM Drive on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and we are live. For Thumbs Up Sammy Action, I am Michael Carvello saying, what's up, Sammy?
Good morning, Michael. I'm excited. I just got breaking news that John Madden will be on the cover of 2023 Madden for the first time since 2000. Awesome.
Okay.
Good way to celebrate that franchise.
You know what's funny about that is I know he passed away this past October or whatever, but I was talking with some buddies of mine saying, who would be the good person to have? I was saying like Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, who's never been on it. But I like the John Madden move. That's a clutch move.
Me too. Just announced. Really happy to hear it.
Good job. Good job by EA Sports on making that right. Sammy, who has the best morning show?
We do. Who else breaks Madden news in the beginning?
Amen. These guys, that's right. Well, in order to get an awesome hoodie like this, a mug like this, and more, you got to go to amtribe.online. It's the best merchandise at the lowest price. Trust me, you're going to love it. I know I do. Go to amtribe.online. Best morning show ever merchandise. You won't want to miss it. Hey, Sammy, Avalanche won a doozy of a game one.
So boring that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The score was 8-6. Even when you thought the Avalanche would pull away, the Oilers just kept chipping away, made it very compelling late until finally an empty netter made the 1.5 bettors probably crap their pants. But no, a good game overall. Both teams were skating all around the ice, just faster than I can remember a hockey game being played. Very entertaining game to watch. And the goalies, one of them got hurt, but Sammy, you have other thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Darcy Kemper not only got hurt, but I think his ego got a little bit hurt. He was having a bad game to begin with. I do think he's probably injured, and that's why they took him out. But yeah, I don't think he wanted to be in that game anyway. I think he was a little bit overmatched in some of those goals.
This was an upper body injury, but how many times have you heard a hockey player having an upper body injury and returning in 5 minutes? I mean, to be fair.
True. I mean, he did take a puck to like the chest area, so I mean, it's possible he broke something or something. Yeah, I mean, it is possible he got hurt in that way, but it didn't look like he was in tune that game at all. But wow, what an amazing game, right? We talked about this game yesterday being a high-scoring affair, and I'll be honest with you, I think the odds makers in Vegas are going to have some trouble here. The total in that game was 7. It was over 7 in the second period. You can't really make it like 9, right? If you make it 9, everybody just bets under. And so I think you're going to see some hockey totals in the 8 area for the next couple of games when these two teams play. And that's crazy to have playoff hockey with a total of 8. Unreal.
Now, do you think that this trend continues? Because that's one of the things I'm thinking of is this going to keep on happening, or will the defense finally step up? Or
So
we've seen great hockey players.
I do think it will keep happening. I think the games will be fairly high scoring. Not to say all of them will be 14 goals. And I think it's a difference of opinion that Colorado has in how they take over a game. When Tampa Bay gets up 3-0, they want to win the game 3-0, right? They clamp down. They don't let anybody score. They don't let anybody breathe. When Colorado goes up 3-0, they want to win 8-1. Right? They keep their foot on the gas, but they also still pinch in their defenders. They still give up opportunities the other way. They're perfectly happy to let their skaters skate, and that just creates a lot of goal scoring opportunities for both sides. I don't know that they have any interest in changing the way they play. That's just how they've done it all year long. So I do think with the level of goaltending I have Mike Smith and their backup, you're going to get lots of Colorado goals, which will then in turn mean Edmonton will be pressing and giving up opportunities and also scoring more. So I do think it'll be a high-scoring series.
The Francoeur guy or whatever who came in for Darcy Kemper was absolutely incredible, though.
I mean,
he had a good couple.
Yeah. Coming off the bench, yeah, he did play very well.
I mean, there were some goals. I'm like, man, how did he stop that one? Like when he stretched his leg out, he was tiptoe on. He was like, man, there's no way this guy's coming off the bench.
I mean, some of those goals were just absolutely beautiful. I mean, you saw the McDavid to Draisaitl to a Nugent Hopkins play was just absolutely picturesque. And, the Nathan McKinnon breakaway was gorgeous. And there were a few other breakaways that didn't score where the guys put on amazing moves and just either missed the shot or a guy just tipped it at the last second. There was one play at the end of the game where the puck was hanging out in the goalie zone for like a good 2 seconds with nobody touching it. I mean, just an insane amount of flying around the ice. What an incredible game.
I think Aaron's Avalanche in 5 thing looks pretty good right now. Because I feel like, yeah, we might see Edmonton squeak one away. But I'm telling you what, man, Colorado, they're so much more physical. Like, I know the Oilers technically had more hits, but I say there should be a stat for impact hits. Because I feel like when Avalanche, swarm you, that's just another level of, they're so good at swarming you and getting the puck out of here. It's incredible. I don't see other hockey teams be able to do it as well as they do on defense.
They do. Their forecheck is incredible. But you have to remember, Edmonton played Calgary last round, and this same scenario presented itself in game 1 of that game, right? Calgary got off to that big lead. Edmonton chipped away at it, got the game all the way back to tied. I want to say it was like 6-6 before Calgary ended up winning, 7-6, in a thrilling fashion the same way. And that game proved to Edmonton they could skate with those guys, right? They could hang with them even if they were behind. I don't know that this was discouraging for Edmonton. I think that this was an encouraging game for them. And so it could produce the opportunity of them stealing one in Colorado, making this a real series. We'll see, but it should be entertaining however long it lasts.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, scoring 6 goals, though, like you said, it is encouraging for them because Avalanche are technically the better team. Avalanche are the better defensive team. And yet we dropped a 6-piece on them and kept them on the ropes for the entire 3 periods. Like there was no, like you said, 8-1. It was like, oh wow, we better score another one here. Get a little insurance on this game.
I mean, even when the score was 7-3, you never felt like it was over, right? I mean, that's the thing. Edmonton was still in this game down quite a few goals. Now, I think if the script was flipped and it was 7-3 Edmonton, I do think the game would be closer to over, even though they're not as good defensively. They're not as good in the goaltending. Colorado just plays that style where teams can get back in it if they catch some momentum. I think Edmonton would have clamped down a little bit better. I could be wrong. We'll find out. I'm sure Edmonton will have a lead in one of these games. But, yeah, I just never felt this game was over, even down 7-3.
Aaron made a great point, and I'll leave it here yesterday, that he was thinking about, in his best players left list, who's better, a great goalie or Connor McDavid? I think we're seeing these skaters in this series might be better than a shutdown goalie. It's something interesting to watch.
I mean, we're going to get this matchup one way or the other, right? We're going to get a shutdown goalie from the East, and we're going to get one of these high flyers from the West in the finals. And so that question will get, somewhat answered. The difference is, I think, it's style of play, though. I mean, Darcy Kemper isn't a shutdown goalie for sure, but Tampa Bay's mentality, and to an extent the Rangers too, is to clamp down on the defensive side of the ice, and Colorado just doesn't play that way. And so, it is definitely Connor McDavid and McKinnon and all those high scorers, but it's also the way these teams play that is changing, and we'll see which one wins out over the long haul. It'll be an interesting final, whichever combination we get.
Agreed. Let's see what there. When we come back, we're making our NBA Finals predictions. And also, if Steph does win Finals MVP, what does it do for his legacy? Also, a brand new game, NFL True, False, and Why. We have 4 questions for me and Sammy. We'll be right back to the AM Drive on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, like us. If you're on Twitter, follow us. Also, do remember that if you want to go and get the best merchandise for your favorite leagues, you got to go to mycanadiandrive.com and do what, Sammy?
We got to click the F, my friends.
That's right. When you click the F, the entire Fanatics store is at your disposal, which means every team from every league with daily deals is right there at your fingertips. Today's daily deal is 20% off gifts for dad. How about that? Happy June 1st to everybody.
And when you clicked that website, the light lit up and illuminated your face in such a way you looked like an angel.
Thank you. I got to be prepared with that. So Sammy, let's get to our NBA Finals picks. The goal here is to do the winner, how many games, and the Finals MVP. And you can add the betting aspects of it in there if you want to as well. So why don't you go first? Who wins the NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Warriors? How many games, and who wins Finals MVP?
I'm going to go with Warriors in 7.
Oh, wow.
I think this will be a long series, drag-out series, and I think the MVP is going to be Klay Thompson. And to go on a little bit of a soapbox on it, I think the matchup with Marcus Smart is just too difficult for Steph to have huge numbers. I think he'll score. No one can stop him scoring. But I think that matchup makes it very difficult for Steph to have huge games. And I do think because of that, I think Klay can be the guy who steps up and hits big shots. And I really wanted to pick Boston this series. I really did. But at the end, I think the Tatum-Draymond Green matchup is very difficult for Tatum. And I also feel like, who do I trust to make big shots in tough defensive games? You know, these are the top 2 defensive teams in the league. The games are going to be tight. They're going to be close. They're going to be low scoring. Which side do I trust to hit big shots down the stretch? And the answer just became easy when you start looking at who's shooting the ball, right? I just trust Klay and Steph a little bit more. So I think it goes 7. I think Klay is the MVP. I think he's 15-1, which is good odds for third choice on the Warrior side.
I want to first say I love the Klay Thompson pick because Klay, I have a feeling he's going to have a few flurries in this series. And it might be in the series clinching game. He has his last flurry. He's very capable of being the dagger. So I like that pick a lot. I went with Draymond Green and the Warriors in 6.
Ooh.
I think Boston, I love their size. I think that is the biggest problem for Golden State. But the size is wonderful. The problem is Andrew Wiggins just shut down Luka for the most part. And I saw Jason Tatum struggle with Miami's defense a lot of times in the Eastern Conference Finals. I believe Jason Tatum will be an efficient scorer this series. I believe that Marcus Smart, like you said, him and Steph Curry will have a fun battle. Even though Marcus Smart is technically banged up. And I think Kevon Looney, obviously, with the Celtics bigs will be a problem. I just think Draymond Green. I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Draymond Green. I know the popular answer might be Steph or Jason Tatum. I don't see either one of them coming close to this.
So the odds makers made Green the second choice on Golden State side behind Steph.
Mhm.
And I consider him highly, but a couple things. Andre Iguodala won it against Cleveland for his shutdown efforts against LeBron, but he also scored quite a bit in that series. I want to say he averaged 15 points in that series. Typically, the defenders don't get the accolades. And also, Draymond Green has kind of a bad reputation overall, although not all of it's necessarily deserved right now. I don't know that guys like that tend to win MVP. The media who paints them as villains don't often then come back and paint them as, as heroes. So I do like that pick. I understand it. And I know the odds makers have made him kind of a lower choice. I think if it's not Steph or Clay, I think the next option is probably a guy like Jordan Poole who goes crazy off the bench, or Andrew Wiggins. Honestly, if Boston were to win, I think it's not Tatum either. I think it's Jaylen Brown, who's also like 10-1 to win. He's the second choice on that side because, like you said, Tatum disappeared a little bit in the last series. Jaylen Brown has the far easier matchup being put up against, Clay, who doesn't put forth the defensive effort he used to, and or Steph.
Right.
And somebody's got to score, right? They're only going to score 106 points a game. Somebody's going to score 30 of them. It could easily be Jaylen Brown if it's not Tatum.
So are we saying that? I actually like that. I actually like your narrative there. I think, well, not your narrative, but your observation there. I think that's a good point. If Golden State wins, it's probably Clay getting the better of Jaylen Brown with a few flurries. If Boston wins, it's probably Jaylen Brown stubbing up for Jason Tatum. I like that.
I could be completely off, and it could just be superstar world. Jason Tatum's come out moment.
I almost want to guarantee it's not going to be Tatum or Steph. Pick the field against those two.
I feel the same way.
Pick the field because those guys have such tough matchups. People talk about Draymond or Wiggins on Tatum. I don't care which one you throw. He's not getting his. Steph Curry, Marcus Smart. If anybody has seen any NBA Finals, Kyrie Irving could play good defense on Steph Curry in the finals. Those games slowed down a lot, and I promise you Steph will have a tough time with that.
I want to say that I saw a stat in my research last night that said that when Marcus Smart guards Steph Curry, the points per game of Golden State went down to something like 85 per 100 attempts. 85 points in 100 possessions, which is incredibly low. It screams the series has a lot of under games. And now I don't know that Smart will get him every possession, but on the possessions he does, I think you'll see Steph will shoot some crazy shots. And you've made the point before that Golden State does turn the ball over a bit. This will just exemplify that problem for them as well. Again, I think they can overcome all of these things and still win a tight series, but I don't think it's because Steph has the elegant 40-point games with 10 3-pointers, 3 or 4 times in a series. I don't think that's the narrative they win with. So
you're expecting a good series then?
I do think these are the top 2 defensive teams in the NBA. Defense still wins in the NBA. They score their points off of forcing turnovers and bad shots, and so I don't. When it gets to a half-court game, I think this is going to be a slugfest. I don't think it's going to be a very wide-open, free-flowing, 3-point bombing series that we've seen Golden State play in the past. I think these teams buckle down and play tough defense and fight for tough shots. So, yeah, I do think it's going to be a good series. I hope it goes the distance, but I wouldn't be shocked if either team wins in 6 or 7. I think it'll be close.
How good, man, is Brad Stevens going to look after getting away from the coaching, after how good he was as a coach, and if he wins the title as the GM?
Both these coaches are excellent. I give both of them credit.
Well, even I'm talking about the Brad Stevens aspect of this is a pretty big thing for me as well.
Absolutely, Brad Stevens. His escalation from small town coach in a small school all the way to GM of the Celtics is a storybook story. I mean, good for him. He did a great job as a coach, and he's doing a great job as a GM as well.
Amen. Steph with the Finals MVP. Let's say he does break through and win it. Does what for his legacy?
I think he's already considered a top 3 guard of all time. I think he's already a top 10 player to most people's lists. I don't know where I would rank him personally. I don't know that it changes it too much. I think for the legacy of this core, this team, it becomes one of the most dominating teams we've seen in recent time. This is the 6th finals in 8 years. We have 4th championship, 5th championship. I mean, they deserve as a group tons of credit. I don't know that Steph can move up much higher than being in the top 10 all time, where he currently is. And I love the guy. I mean, he's been a joy to watch his whole career. But I don't know that this particular series will make much of a dent in what he shows at the end of his career.
Here's one thing I'll say about this. I think people need to look at the Warriors as a whole when looking at Steph Curry. People like to say, well, Steph is the system. No, I think Steph thrives a lot because of what's around him. I'm not saying he's not the best player on that team, because he probably is. But I think put him on another team where he just has to control and there is no movement like there is. I really firmly believe, as great as he has been, you have to look at what's around him. And what's around him is amazing player development, himself included, amazing defense, amazing guys who are just team-first players, and a good coach in Steve Kerr. I don't feel like Steph. I think Steph's going to get the bulk of the credit, but I don't think he should. I feel like the fans just want to latch on to a player, and really, to me, this is the perfect example of the Spurs. There's a reason why Tim Duncan is not hiring GOAT list, because Tim Duncan was the best player on a really fantastic system, and that's what matters.
I mean, you can give a lot of this credit to Klay Thompson. I mean, if you look at the last 8 years, they went to 5 straight finals. Klay was healthy for all 5 years. Then Klay misses 2 years with injuries. They don't make the finals. And then Klay comes back, and he's back and healthy. Yeah. And now they're back in the finals. So the system is absolutely fantastic. They've put together a juggernaut there down in California. Also, I'd like to mention, their last 3 drafts, they have lottery pick guys who basically are on their bench, right?
James Wiseman is still not playing.
Right, Kuminga, fills some minutes at the end of games. Moody doesn't play too much. I think they're going to trade Wiseman, probably get another piece next year. Somebody will want that guy, even though he isn't.
Oh, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Well, he's good though. But he's really good though.
I don't know that he's good. He doesn't even play well in the G League. But somebody will take a shot on the guy with that size and athleticism. So I mean, this team will just continue to get better until those core guys decide to retire. This is a good team. It's a good franchise.
You've watched James Wiseman in the G League? I have not.
Have I what?
You've watched him in the G League?
I did. So a couple people I follow on YouTube and whatnot posted some videos of how is he doing, when is he coming back? And there's a big theory out there that the Warriors aren't bringing him back to the active roster because they don't want anybody to see him play. If they see him play and he struggles, his trade value goes down. But if he's just rehabbing in the G League and people still remember his potential, his trade value is higher. Now, I don't know that's true. That's a great theory. But he hasn't exactly lit up the G League, and he's certainly healthy enough to play. So does it beg a question, why didn't the Warriors ever bring him back?
And they need size.
Right, and they need size, exactly. So I tend to agree with this theory that he's not that great of a player, and they don't want anybody to really see his flaws on the court. Instead, trade for his what he could bring
his ceiling.
Right, his ceiling, exactly. Well put. So yeah, I think that's what the GMs are doing, and it's brilliant if they are. They don't need him, obviously. So
wow, I'm check those out, Sammy. I'm glad you said that.
I watch a few guys who do that stuff. Like there's a few guys who follow like the behind the scenes stuff of what's going on. They were talking about the Ball brothers and a couple other guys who are down in the G League who may make a case for themselves at some point, making it into the NBA. Miami is one of those teams. Orlando has lots of guys from the G League. So I try to keep my head down, listen to some of the stuff to know what's going on down there.
Little semi-insider action there. I love it. Let's play a new game. NFL True, False, and Why. So I have 4 questions here. We're going to do this again tomorrow if you're coming back.
I'll be here.
I'm proud of you. You scared me after last week. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask questions, and we're going to give a true or false answer, and also a brief why as we wrap it up here for you. The Buccaneers should be a top 5 Super Bowl contender with Tom Brady back. True or false, and why?
True. They're in the easiest division. I'm a little out of NFL. I haven't really been paying a lot of attention. This is off the top of my head stuff, but they're in the weakest division. Tom Brady will continue to thrive in an offense after he's seen it multiple years. They have the best quarterback. They have the best weapons. They have the best defense in that division. So they're easily going to win the division. Once they get to the playoffs, it's a little bit of a crapshoot. But I'll take Tom Terrific over most people in the playoffs, at least for a game or two. So the Rams, I think, are so great. I think Packers fall back a little bit. I think the Bucs are second or third choice to win the NFC.
I'm going to go false because the NFL got better. I feel like I do like your points about Tom Brady in a system, the same system, who loves a study geek, and in a system where he keeps on getting better at it, obviously. But I think the NFL around him has gotten so much more competitive. There's a lot of stars on like certain teams. So that's why I think they're like the 5th or 6th. I don't know if I can go guaranteed top 5.
Well, who in the NFC is better? So to get them to the Super Bowl, they have to win the NFC. I think you could say the Rams. I don't know if the Packers are better than them anymore. They had the same record last year and lost Devontae Adams. Who in the NFC is better than them besides the Rams?
Eagles. I'm not going to say the Eagles. I'm going to say the Eagles have a chance, but we don't know yet. That's just all speculation.
That's why I struggle with this, right? All the good teams are in the AFC. The AFC West has probably got the 3 of the 4 best teams, but
yeah, I'm saying that's why I'm saying there might be 5 good teams in the AFC, and I win the question. So there you go.
Yeah, but they can only face one of them.
I know.
They got to face one tough team in the NFC and one tough team in the AFC, so that would put them 3rd or 4th, maybe. Yeah,
fair enough. True, false? Why the Chiefs will not win the AFC West?
I'm going to say false. I know everybody's loving the Chargers. I know that, they're the only team that hasn't had an arrest in the last 5 years. And so they're, people love them for that reason too. And God, I just get the feeling that Mahomes is better and that team is better. They have the best coaching staff. They retool well. And this is an opportunity for Mahomes to prove himself without Tyreek Hill, with a bunch of younger guys, younger players, and be a different type of playmaker. I do think San Diego or LA will eventually take over that division. I just don't know if it'll be this year. I think Kansas City is still probably the best team in that division, top to bottom on their roster.
Sammy, I 100% agree. My thing here was Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have been doing this longer. They have shown us last year they could just literally flip a switch and turn it on at midseason. Even when their defense was struggling. And so I agree with you. I think the key here is Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce, right? They still have the best hookup.
Right.
Pass catchers.
He's the best receiver in the last 6 years.
Right. I think you're going to see them retool their offense a little bit. I think they're going to focus more on the running game. I think they're going to focus on more better defense. I don't think you're going to see the crazy points. It used to be they were in the red zone as soon as they crossed the midfield. I don't think you're going to see that anymore. But I do think they have the tools to win games. And, the Chargers, while good, didn't make the playoffs last year, and the Raiders barely squeaked in. That whole division is really tough, and the Chiefs have a tough schedule, but they're still the cream of the crop, man. Until otherwise, I think they're still the champs of that division.
Even the Broncos with Russell Wilson, they don't scare me.
The Broncos made a great trade. They gave up all that capital to get Russell Wilson so they can finish last in that division. It was a fantastic idea.
Fair enough. I'm true, false, and why. Baker Mayfield is traded and starts at least one game next year.
I'm going to say, well, it's a hybrid. I think he does get traded. I don't think he starts a game next year. I think the later it goes, the harder it is for a team to implement him into their roster. Now, you're saying all year, and so he has multiple months to learn playbooks and all that stuff. But any place he goes, he's going to be the backup. Then nobody's trading for him to be a starter at this point. And so the only way I think he starts a game is if a guy gets hurt. It's clearly possible, but it's also clearly not possible. So I do think he gets traded, but I'm going to say that he does not start a game next year. I think he does the Mitch Trubisky role where he just sits in the back of a good quarterback and learns to shut the heck up. And
suddenly looks good again.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden somebody will want to trade for him because of the potential and a year behind Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes or whoever he gets traded to.
Don't tell me that now. That'd be a good idea.
Right, but that's the thing. If he gets traded to Kansas City for pennies on the dollar, I don't think he starts a game, and I think he becomes a huge prospect for the following year. So I think there's a lot of potential for him to still get paid and still be a starter in the league. I don't know that it's going to be next year at all.
I 1,000% agree with that point. And finally, true, false, why? Aaron Donald playing for 8 years is concerning for NFL players, for stars and potential moving forward. This guy literally said, I was planning for playing for 8 years no matter what happened. Wow.
Yeah, it is a little concerning. I mean, these guys make more money now than ever before, and so their careers are being shortened a little bit by the fact they don't need to work quite as long. Also, injuries being such a major concern in the NFL. I wish I would have known that this question was coming. I would have worn my Aaron Donald jersey today. I hope he gets signed again. I hope he plays. He is an absolute beast and one of the best defenders I've ever seen. This is coming from a guy who saw Warren Sapp play that same position. And so I hope he continues to play. I hope he plays a long career. But much respect for him, regardless of what he does. One of the greatest of all time, for sure.
He's playing next year, but he said he'd be at peace if he doesn't get a new deal. Ugh.
Yeah, and if this is his swan song, I will enjoy watching him probably get back to the Super Bowl. I mean, the Rams are good. The Rams are really good.
Hey, when I come back, I'm going to talk about that blind. Sammy's got to go, so with that, I'll give you an adios, Sammy's amigos.
I
He'll
appreciate
be back
it. We'll see you tomorrow.
That's right. We'll play another game of NFL True False Why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Sammy, for joining the show.
Hey, I like that segment, man. I know it was coming, but I like it, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. Have a great night,
man. Read the emails. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Sammy's awesome. Hey, guys, when I come back, I'm talking about, of course, that amazing Aaron Donald fellow and why he only planned to play 8 years. Also, WNBA supremacy. Who is clearly going to win the title this year? I watched the game last night. I think I know who. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
follow the AM Drive to interact with us at AM Drive TV on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Also, shop every league with daily deals, including 20% off dad gifts today. Go to MikeandAaronDrive.com and click the Fanatics logo. Aaron Donald said he would be at peace if he does not have another deal. He also said he planned to play 8 years in the NFL the entire time. This is a huge issue if I am an NFL team or a GM moving into the future. I am almost 100% certain Aaron Donald never told the Rams or anybody this. I don't know if he should be obligated to do so, but to me, if I invest my future into you as a very high draft pick, I don't know if he was number 1, but he was up there in terms of draft picks. I would be very concerned if my number 1 guy planned to play just 8 seasons. What is the reason for this? Is the reason that the money is just so good? Is the reason that you can get injured? Here's the problem that these young athletes need to understand. The NFL is a brutal sport to play in. What if Aaron Donald had never won a Defensive Player of the Year? What if he had not won the Super Bowl? How dumb does this look? Because he's great, more people are okay with him not playing ever again. But if this guy had underachieved and stole money for 8 years, you have to question his passion and his love of the game. I'm sorry that may not seem fair or right, but it's just the reality of how things work. What if this was a quarterback who said, I'm only playing 8 years, but never told anybody until it was his 8th season? That's a serious issue. And the NFL needs to look at that. You have done everything you can to make the game as soft as possible without making it too in touch, and yet some moron like Aaron Donald says, I only played 8 years. Why? Like, the sports is an entertainment business. And sports is geared toward fans. Like I said before, if Aaron Donald had never won the accolades he has won, people would be furious right now. And that, to me, is a huge problem. Again, I don't know how to fix it, but all this money coming into these guys, Aaron Donald may have just ruined the system for a couple of guys moving forward. Seriously. I'm not saying that because I think Aaron Donald is some terrible human being who lied and just is a complete sham. But I think Aaron Donald, by doing this, makes people not want to invest $100 million into the next guy. Because if I'm a billionaire owner who wants to still make billions and billions of dollars, and I give away $100 million, but this guy only plays 8 years, why am I paying him? What is the point of that? I'm giving a big contract to a guy who I can trust and who will be here, or at least be in the stinking league. Aaron Donald said I'd be fine if I played 8 years. This was before he won anything. That's an incredible thing that I know nobody's going to talk about. But I think NFL owners are taken aback by what he said. I really do. I know me making the kind of money that I do would question it. Can you imagine what these guys who make all this money are thinking? Like, wow, this guy just screwed after 8 years? It's not good. Might affect the future of other players. The WNBA this season has been well marketed, and I'm not the biggest fan of the ESPN presentation of it all. I know they have like the rights to it and all, but I do wish the WNBA would be a little bit better marketing-wise. I know like they're trying to shove it down people's throats, and it's worrying a little bit, but I want to talk about the WNBA for this reason. The WNBA has a clear-cut number one team, and I don't think it's very close at all. Yesterday, the Connecticut Sun played the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces are coached by Becky Hammond. They had two amazing players, Kayla McBride, who can shoot the lights out, and Asia Wilson, who's a dominating forward / center at her on her team. The Aces never looked back in that game. They led by like 10 points the entire time. It was like an 8-point game at halftime. And in the WNBA, that's a lot of points to be up by. I think the Aces right now, they're the clear-cut favorites. You add on top of the fact they have Kayla McBride and Asia Wilson, and then you add in that they have Becky Hammond, who's a Greg Popovich disciple. I think the Aces might win the whole. I think the Aces will win the whole thing. I'll be shocked if they don't. I don't know who else can. Like seriously, I don't know what else could happen. What I do know is that I'm out of time for today's show, and I appreciate everyone for coming on the show and just watching if you did and supporting us. Tomorrow is Lacrosse Thursday. The PLL starts this Saturday and Sunday. I'll do my best to preview that after, of course, Sammy leaves tomorrow. But tomorrow also, me and Sammy will have more NFL true, false, and why. And, of course, NBA Finals Game 1 preview. We'll review Game 1 of the Lightning and the Rangers. It's going to be a fun show tomorrow. Go to MikeandAaronDrive.com to check out our sponsors and other great things that our show has to offer. For Sammy Action and Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvalho saying, drive safe, won't you? Bye.